65%. 65% was my savings rate in the year 2022, and I have been saving at least half of my income since 2018. And step 8 of my FIRE checklist is not an easy step to accomplish if you have debt or high expenses. If you're serious about the financial independence and retire early movement, you want to increase your savings rate a lot higher than the average American. And I've met so many people who are more concerned about the average stock market returns or the type of assets to own, but your first step to saving money is actually to have the money to save, right? Many people are so focused on the average rate of return of 8%, 10%, or 15%, but they forget to focus on how much of their income they can save each week or every month. You need to have a strong base or principle before you can build your earnings and interest, right? And I want to show you these charts before I get into my savings rate of 70% in 2023. If I say, hey, you should have $20,000 instead of $10,000, then you would say, well, duh, of course, saving more money, the better. It's easier said than done because most people just choose not to do it. And here's the assumption. Let's say you're married at age 30, making $150,000 in gross earnings. The first chart shows the couple saving 10% of their gross income with a 2% average increase in their income every year. And assuming that their savings rate never changes for the next 30 years, they're going to become millionaires at age 51 with an 8% annualized return and $2.2 million by age 59 or 60. When you look at these numbers, you're probably thinking, hey, that's not so bad. But if you're looking to accumulate your wealth so that you can retire early in your 40s or 50s, saving just 10% of your income won't be enough. And unless you're looking to retire at your normal age at 59 and a half, and the second chart shows you increase your savings rate by 1% every year, assuming that your income increases by 2% each year. So from 2022 to 2023, you're getting a $3,000 pay raise, which is 2%, right? Your savings rate increases from 10% to 11%, and that's a difference of $1,830. So theoretically, you would save 61% of that 2% pay raise and use the other 39% of that 2% pay raise on your expenses. With an 8% average annual return, you would become a millionaire 5 years earlier than the previous chart at age 46 versus age 51. And if you continue to work until 59, you would have $4.5 million invested. And even if you stop working at age 45, you would still have about $2.6 million, which is $400,000 more than the previous chart. Let me show you this bonus chart. And what if you're starting with a 20% savings rate and you increase it by 10% each year until you hit that 50% savings rate in 2026? Then you just consistently save 50% for 13 years with a 2% average annual increase in income and an 8% return on investment. You'd be a millionaire by age 39 with $2.4 million by age 45. Now, this is how you retire early by saving more than half of your income. And when I started my FIRE journey in 2016, right after paying off my $110,000 in consumer debt, just saving 20% of my income in the beginning allowed my net worth to accumulate a lot faster than ever before. Not to mention that I truly started investing in 2017 during the longest bull market in the history of the stock market. So some of you could say that I had a great start in the market and I probably got lucky, but I can tell you that the market is trading at a great discount right now. So I'm looking to increase my savings rate to take advantage of the bear market. And you can't control the rate of your investment return, but you have total control of your savings rate. And how you save and invest your money requires knowledge and good behavior. And you can increase your knowledge by downloading my financial independence resources for absolutely free by visiting firesetchat.com/contact. You can also check out the Fireside Chat shop if you're curious about what I have on my display shelves at firesetchat.com/shopping. And here's the formula to calculate your total savings rate. It's your total savings divided by your gross earnings. Easy peasy, right? You want to use your gross earnings for accuracy to calculate your savings rate because not everyone has the same deductions, tax rates, or benefits. And I've been using what's called a 50-50 pay myself first budget strategy since 2018, it means exactly what I said. Save half of my income and spend the other half. And if you think I just like to save money and I don't have fun at all, then you're absolutely wrong about the whole financial independence movement. I want you to have fun while being intentional with your spending. I would never say that you should struggle to save 50% of your income. That doesn't make any sense, right? And I'm not trying to state the obvious, but if you can't handle the 50% savings rate, then you simply have to increase your income. So in 2023, I'm looking at a 70% savings rate with an increase in income and a decrease in some expenses, not all. And if you need help calculating your savings rate or creating a budget for your financial independence, you can schedule a free one-on-one 20-minute financial coaching session by visiting firesightchat.com/coaching. First, we're always going to prioritize our long-term investment plan with TSP, 401k, IRA, and HSA, because every dollar I build into these accounts today will exponentially grow over the next 30 to 40 years. And don't forget that time is your greatest asset and your greatest enemy. And my wife and I will each invest about $22,500 into our TSP and pension plan, which is a total of $45,000. Since I got a 5% match on my TSP, or about $6,000 a year, that's an automatic 5% increase in my savings rate, right? This is why you should never leave free money from your employer on the table. And step 3 of my FIRE checklist tells me to save my retirement, but only up to the employer match. It's not until step 7 that I max out my 401k or TSP at $22,500, and we'll each invest $6,500 into our Roth IRA, which is a total of $13,000. We'll also put $7,750 into our health savings account, or HSA, and you can check out this video about how to money hack the HSA linked in the description below. So the total retirement contributions come out to $71,750, including my employer match. That's about a 30% savings rate just in our retirement accounts. Second, we make sure to set aside enough cash, or what's called a sinking fund. We have a sinking fund for any annual expenses like vehicle maintenance, taxes, insurance, annual credit card fees, and healthcare. And we also have another sinking fund for any discretionary or entertainment expenses like concerts, Christmas presents, birthday gifts, or any fun activities in the local area. We don't go out that much to the Vegas Strip, but every once in a while we'll get events like Sick New World or Taylor Swift. We also love to travel, so having a travel fund is a must in our financial independence journey. Remember what I said, this is a 50-50 pay myself first budget strategy, right? We're exactly doing that by paying ourselves first. We want to make sure that we're having fun in our lives, and I encourage you to do the same. And between our travels, entertainment, birthdays, and anniversary, we should be able to save 10% of our income towards our sinking funds. If we end up saving more or having more cash than we need, then all we need to do is invest the difference into our taxable investment accounts for our early retirement. Now, speaking of early retirement, that's the third bucket of our FIRE strategy. We're looking at saving about 25% of our gross income towards early retirement. And it's not quite as much as the 30% or to our long-term retirement accounts, but saving between $48,000 and $50,000 a year in those taxable brokerage accounts will help us achieve financial independence and retire early in 9 years as our income increases every year. I would like to increase our savings rate for our early retirement accounts to 30% or more than our long-term retirement accounts like 401k or IRAs. And we have 2 taxable brokerage accounts right now. One of them focuses on dividend investing and the other one focuses on growth. And then the final bucket is saving for my daughter's college fund, or UTMA, at about 5% of our income. And luckily, we don't have to save as much for her college savings because I transferred my GI Bill over to her when I was on active duty in the military. And I also have a UTMA account for her, which stands for Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. And it's basically a custodial brokerage account for your children under the age of 18 or 21, depending on the state that you reside in. This is a part of step 9 of my FIRE checklist, which is to build generational wealth. And even if my daughter decides not to attend college, I can pass her 529 to someone else in my family tree. And I want to answer some of the most frequently asked questions about the 50% savings rate that I collected from all the comments on YouTube and all the social media sites. Do you count employer matches to the savings rate? Absolutely. If you're contributing 5% and your employer contributes 5%, then that's 10% of your gross earnings in the savings rate. What about saving for a vehicle or a house? Do they count toward my savings rate? Yep, because what's the purpose of saving money now? So that we can spend it later, right? Buying a house or a vehicle will still hold value to your overall net worth. Should I increase my savings rate every time I get a raise? Yes. So generally, if you get a 2% raise, then you want to try to save 50% of that 2% raise or 1%. However, if your expenses are higher due to inflation like in 2022, you need to make sure you can put food on the table first before saving for anything else. If I can't achieve a 50% savings rate right now, what's a good starting point? So I always use my FIRE checklist to start from the top, because by the time I get to step 8, I'm most likely at a 30 or 35% savings rate. Your savings rate depends on your income too, right? So what's it going to be when you save for your Roth IRA, HSA, and 401k? Is it 20%, 25%, or 30%? And if your income is under 6 figures, you're going to have to reduce your expenses to save half of your income. Just make sure that you're not struggling to live because you're saving too much for your retirement. Make sure to do your net worth statement before creating an investment plan. And if you want to know more about how to start investing in your financial independence, be sure to check out these 2 videos. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.